Hey, believe it or not, zombie games are just like zombies themselves. They just keep coming. You can't stop them. So today we're rounding up 10 new zombie games from 2023. Little disclaimer we like to always put in these videos, people get very specific about zombie lore. There's zombies, zomboids, clickers, whatever. Everybody has a different name. Everybody likes to argue. Basically, games that involve or at least contain some shambling undead things we're going to talk about today. So let's get started off with number 10. Yet Another Zombie Survivors is more than just a clever little title that'll catch your eye on Steam. This is a top-down shooter where you're just taking on hordes and hordes, waves and waves of zombies, mowing them down, constantly getting more and more powerful with cool weapons. This is like a shoot 'em up or a bullet hell, but they call it like a reverse bullet hell at this point. I can kind of compare it to Vampire Survivors, but maybe in 3D and with a little bit more going on mechanically in terms of enemy types, the environments, and like how your characters are being built up. This is one of the more casual games on our list, we'll be totally honest. Like, you can play this very casually, very relaxed. If you know Vampire Survivors or similar games of this genre, you kind of know what to expect. But this is a good one because there's a lot of gore, a lot of zombies, and a crazy amount of on-screen effects that just make things really, really satisfying. Everything, every zombie, every earning, like every little pickup you get is just incredibly satisfying. People have been loving this on Steam. It's overwhelmingly positive for a reason since July. So if this wasn't on your radar and you're looking for something that's like cool and satisfying and addictive, but not super challenging or demanding, consider Yet Another Zombie Survivors. Next, over at number 9, we have Arizona Sunshine 2. Now, Arizona Sunshine was a first-person zombie shooter in VR in the earlier days of consumer VR, and it was pretty great. It had flaws, but it just showed what a good, simple, arcade-style shoot-'em-up zombie game can really be in VR. Just how satisfying and thrilling that can really be. So Arizona Sunshine 2 essentially takes it to the next level. This is releasing at the very tail end of 2023, and clearly from the gameplay, like, they've really ramped things up. A lot more weapons that like you're actually physically wielding, flamethrowers, explosives everywhere, but a revamped gore system for the zombies. So they're getting bloodier, they're getting chunkier, they're getting grosser as you're blowing them to bits, and that goes a long way. That can make a zombie shooter all the more satisfying. There's a little bit more of a zany attitude to this one compared to the first game. This one seems like it's having a bit more fun with the main character and the presentation and everything like that. And also, there's a dog. Like, there's a dog with you, the dog helps you, the dog is cool, and we think that's good. This is gonna have single player, of course, but also online co-op, which will be very cool to see go down. Nothing like taking a machete and a pistol or like a big shotgun to zombies in VR. Really, if you haven't tried it before, definitely give it a shot. Arizona Sunshine 2 is probably gonna be pretty awesome. Next, over at number 8, we have the Dead Space Remake. This released at the start of 2023, and it's great. It's a very simple remake. They changed some things, they tweaked some things here and there that make sense. There's a little bit more to do in the game, but ultimately, you're playing through the classic Dead Space just with 10 times better graphics. Visually, this game is astounding, and the use of light and darkness makes the game that much more atmospheric and terrifying. And I know the enemies aren't really totally zombies, they're necromorphs, there's like these mutated things, but they're like undead and gross, so I don't know. We've always counted Dead Space on our zombie games, we don't care, we're gonna keep going. Dead Space, the remake, is a really good remake example of like remaking something but not really rocking the boat, not changing anything that'll alienate fans, keeping what really made it special and just enhancing it. I know at this point, a lot of you guys out there are sick of remakes and re-releases, but this is one where they didn't screw it up at all, and I think they should be commended for that. It's gory, it's creepy, it's badass, and we're curious to see what's gonna come next from the Dead Space franchise. Who knows at this point, but we'd like to see more, whatever it may be. Next, over at number 7, we have Lords of the Fallen. Now, this one isn't necessarily like a zombie killing game, but you are facing off against quite a variety of undead and shambling creatures, so we're gonna count it. We're also counting it because Lords of the Fallen was pretty fun. It had some technical flaws, but ultimately, we pretty much enjoyed it here, and we haven't really seen it brought up too much. Like, we haven't seen it pop up in a lot of other top 10s or Game of the Year considerations, so we figured we'd mention it here. It's got good combat. If you like these Souls-like style games, they definitely took the formula here and tweaked it a little bit, and it is way better than the original Lords of the Fallen. We'll say that, even just from like a visual standpoint. It's grosser, it's creepier, it's scarier, the enemies are cooler, and you're gonna have fun killing them. Seriously, like if we're talking zombies or like, you know, gross undead shambling things, like some of the monsters and things and enemies they've come up with here are really cool. You're gonna want to see them. Of course, it's worth noting that it is a challenging game. It comes with this kind of subgenre, this Dark Souls inspired genre, but thankfully you can play through it with a friend. Next, over at number 6, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. This is like an obligatory conclusion this year. I wouldn't say it's the most exciting inclusion for us here personally at the gameranx team. We're pretty burnt out on this stuff, but if you like playing Call of Duty, specifically if you like playing Call of Duty Warzone, and you want zombies running around in it, well, that's what you get with Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. The maps are bigger, they're a lot more Warzone-esque. There's still the structure, like there's still guns on the wall, you're still buying them, there's some pacing and stuff like that. And the zombies kind of give off a lot of the same vibes and sound effects that they have in previous games, but this feels like a totally different beast. And we don't know if we love it, but shooting zombies at the end of the day is still fun in Call of Duty formula. Love it or hate it, at this point, Call of Duty Zombies is an absolute beast. Even if you don't play or you don't care, the amount of people that play these things is unprecedented. People are hooked, and they will probably be hooked for years. So, with Modern Warfare 3, you get more zombies. Oh boy, jumping off of that at number 5, we have The Day Before. The Day Before is a game we've discussed very often here at gameranx because for a while there were headlines and controversy, a lot of people debating whether or not this game was real. There's been some legal issues with like the name change, there's been delays, there's been developer silence, but at this point now, at the tail end of the year, The Day Before has re-emerged, maybe even risen from the dead like a zombie, and it's going to be in early access soon, and it's very much a combination of games like The Division mixed with The Last of Us and maybe even like Escape from Tarkov or a little PUBG, but there's also zombies in it. This is a post-apocalyptic game, like where the main concern is other characters in the world, other players, you know, friend or foe. Who are you gonna kill? Whose loot are you gonna steal? There's also zombies running around. And judging from the trailers and the videos, that seems like that's gonna keep you busy. Now again, we don't know if this game is gonna be any good. I wanna like fully disclose that. There's a lot of hesitation around this one. There's a lot of ideas in this, and we're curious to see if they can actually make good on all those ambitions and all those promises, like building your own base, your own cars, your own weapons, a big world, the community stuff. We'll have to wait and see, but The Day Before does have zombies to shoot in it, so it's on this list. Next, over at number 4, we have Synced. Synced was formerly known as Synced Off Planet, but now they've kind of branded it to just Synced. And this is from publisher Level Infinite, and it's a free-to-play co-op shooter. You can actually play this completely solo or with friends. You can play together, you can engage in some PvP, and essentially this is like a highly futuristic third-person action co-op shooter. It's over the shoulder. All your characters have some incredible over-the-top abilities with their technology, and you're fighting off hordes and hordes of these weird creatures that are like infected by nanomachines. In this future, there's nanomachine technology, but it went rogue and kind of took over and created these weird creatures, and these creatures have been walled off in certain sections, and you play as a group of people who go into those sections and do video game stuff. With Synced being free to play and being like completely an online thing, it does seem like the developers are pretty deep into the community and responding to fan requests and stuff, because originally this game dropped earlier in the year to not too exciting reviews, but more and more as time goes on, as more people spend time with it and as the game gets updated, it seems like people are digging it a bit more. Like, it doesn't seem like something you got to put too much thought into it, but if like you're looking for a looter shooter with like a little bit of roguelike elements, it does have grinding, so there is that. It is free to play, so it does come with some of those trappings. So if you're looking for a game where you're kind of like third person shooting like techno sci-fi zombies, I know this one is a bit of a reach, but it is still technically classified as a zombie game for a lot of people. Next, down at number 3, we have The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, Retribution. Now, this is worth highlighting because the original Walking Dead Saints and Sinners was an underrated VR experience. It was just a great, like, first-person zombie killing, smashing VR experience with a good Walking Dead spin on it that a lot of people really loved, but the game ultimately flew under the radar, so it's good that this game got a sequel. This time around, the graphics are way, way better. The environments, still in the South, are a bit more compelling. The enemy types are cooler. There's just a lot more going on in this one, a lot more to do. You could tell by the gameplay on screen here, like some of the zombie kills are like, whoa. I mean, like from what we can show, it's pretty intense stuff. Zombie killing in New Orleans with a Walking Dead spin is what a lot of people were looking for, and this sequel, Retribution, really builds upon what they set up with the first game. It's cool as hell, and we know not everybody has VR, so not everybody can experience this, but if you do have VR, maybe you got a headset for the holidays as a gift or something, consider this one, put it high on your list. If not the first one, then definitely this one. It's a very hands-on zombie killing experience, we'll say that. Now, coming down to number 2, we have Resident Evil 4. Yeah, another game where they're not technically zombies, but they shamble about and you blow their heads off. Okay, they're zombies. We've been having this debate since the original Resident Evil 4 in the early 2000s, and, you know, we don't have to have it anymore. Resident Evil is a zombie series, and Resident Evil 4 is a zombie game. The remake is great. It changes things up, it remixes certain things in certain ways, but it also gives characters a little bit more depth. It's a little bit spookier, it's a little bit scarier, it's a bit more challenging, and they did a really good job with it. As a hard to please, you know, classic Resident Evil fan, we were very satisfied playing through this, and then also with the fact that they very quickly followed up with DLC, of course centered around Ada Wong. Overall, the Resident Evil 4 remake is just a great package. The third-person shooting feels solid. The feedback on the enemies, like I said, when you blow them to bits or headshot them, just really is satisfying. It gets you hooked. It keeps you thrilled from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. When the enemies are armored, they have their own weapons, and things just get crazier and crazier. The game is paced so well, you're always getting more interesting, more exciting weapons to take out all these creatures and nasties. So it's a win-win. Honestly, at this point, I'm actually running out of ways to praise Resident Evil 4, both the original and now the remake. It's something you should check out whether you're a new fan or an old fan. But down to number 1, we have Dead Island 2. Yeah, you know what, it's at number 1 because it might not be the best game of the year, but in terms of a zombie-focused game on a zombie list, it nails it. With what it sets out to do here, just make a simple, straightforward zombie-killing first-person game. It's pretty satisfying to play through. We wouldn't recommend like running out and getting it at full price, but if you do get your hands on it, you'll find a good time that doesn't require a lot of thinking, a lot of thought. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's got some good weapons, some satisfying melee combat, and zombie gore graphics that are just so cool to see in motion. You know, take a bat, break a zombie's bones, slice off their skin with a katana, set them on fire, watch acid burn their skin off. You can really mutilate these things, and that's part of the fun here. I know I might sound like a crazy person, but I mean it. If you like killing, blasting, destroying, fighting zombies, you like when they get up in your face, you like blood everywhere, you like gore, Dead Island 2 essentially is that in a really tropical California paradise setting. It doesn't take itself too seriously, it's not super long, it doesn't have a good story or anything, but it's not open world, so it's just these really fun, creative design levels that you can kind of wander around and kill stuff. For some players out there, for some zombie fans out there, this might be just what the doctor ordered. Even if you see some critics not totally in love with it, zombie fans seem to be digging it, and that's what matters here, right? So those were 10 new zombie games from 2023. Again, zombie or zombie adjacent. Let us know in the comments what you think about these games, but also if you got your own tips or your own zombie games you've been playing in 2023. If you can make your own top 5 or your own top 10, hit us up in the comments. We're always looking for more game recommendations. But if you like this video and you like what we do here, we just talk video games every single day. Clicking the like button's all you gotta do. It really helps us. And if you're new, consider subscribing. Maybe hitting that notification bell because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.